The general idea behind Altered State was to create something innovative, something new. We worked really hard to try and bring something really special to Erie.
I always believed that there was a showmanship to mixology. We don't call our staff bartenders, they're mixologists, they're brand ambassadors. There's a higher level that we believe we hold our staff to, and they agreed to it, and it made them excited to be here. We demand that people mix cocktails with a glass and a spoon, and there's this process to it. The shaking of cocktails, understanding the glassware that accompanies that. It's very important because I like watching people build my cocktails. I enjoy drinking those cocktails every bit as much. So I believe it's an experience.
We've incorporated as many Erie artists and craftsmen as we could within the project itself. I think Erie has a lot more to offer than people realize. The city of Erie, we are the very first distillery since Prohibition. We created a true Scottish whiskey. We brought in unique yeast strains. We brought in true Scottish grains. We imported them from Scotland. To kind of add to a twist, we created ourselves a new style, which we blended with a bourbon. And so we kind of created this interesting Scotch style bourbon here in the United States. The one thing that's great in the United States, we have a lot of freedom to develop new and interesting ways to make whiskeys. We also created an American whiskey, which was based on our original, my brother and I's true recipe for a single malt whiskey, black malts, and had flavors of chocolate. And we've also blended that with a bourbon to create its own style. And then we created a rye whiskey in the thoughtful process of a true Irish whiskey, which they take malted and unmalted styles of whiskey and blend together to make a true style Irish whiskey. So our rye is built in the concept of an Irish whiskey. So those were kind of some of the new and interesting ways to try and make Altered State set itself apart from others.
And when we started talking about the spirits, it was how do we make a cocktail that no one's ever had? So out of a sheer issue of problem, and that everything we make has to be from the state of Pennsylvania, no one made sweet vermouth. So we did. We made our own from scratch. Ends up being, it's one of the best sweet vermouths I've ever had. And people have agreed to that. A lot of people enjoy it. It's unique, it's different than your Martini Rossi's or that most of us are used to. And it was fresh. It was such a fresh ingredient thing. You could taste it, you could tell. And when people get their Manhattans here, the highlight of the show is by far the whiskey, but in very close second is the vermouth. No one makes Manhattans like we do.
This was kind of a little invention that my partner and I, Gavin, came up with. We worked with some great local breweries we've become friends with, been sharing barrels back and forth. They've been getting bourbon barrels and rye barrels from us for the development of beers with them. So we kind of in tales thought, well, why don't we try and take some of their barrels and we'll instill some whiskey into those barrels. In the process, we were able to come up with a couple of very unique concepts. One which is our Barley Wine Rye, which unknowingly I don't think anybody has attempted to do yet. We took a beautiful 95% rye whiskey and we placed it within barley wine barrels that were unrinsed. So they had still all those residual flavors of barley wines in there, which has flavors of raisins and unique flavors that push through toffee and vanilla, and it shoved itself right into the whiskeys over time. We also came up with a stout barrel bourbon. These are imperial stout barrels. They are very, very dark, almost like molasses in appearance when they leave the bottle. And these are very, very deep with huge chocolate notes, bits of almost little tastes of like even soy sauce, like things that come through the bourbon, and they're very, very rich. And many people that have tried this so far are enticed and really enjoy what we have going on with these.
I think we found very close friends in the distillery world, and we're here for you. They're there for us. It's a real positive approach, and we always felt that's the way this industry should be handled. They're not competition. I want everyone to love going to their location every bit as much as people love coming here. Everybody in the industry is great. That inspires people to check other ones out.
We have this beautiful bar room. We have a great venue here. We wanted to try and create a diverse way to get cocktails in people's hands, to create something special for as many palates as we could. Altered State is a culmination of years of experience, years of hardships and artistic growth, combining everything that you can learn in life at this point between business and art and friendships to develop a final product. I think we've put everything we have into what we have so far.